Go. 3, 2, 1. Well, welcome in to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital. I'm Landon. I'm joined by my main man,
Austin.
He,
Okay,
he
you
left
caught
me
me off guard,
hanging.
Austin.
left left me hanging in there. Lord have mercy. That's tough. That's tough.
My
But
bad.
we got Austin here for this is week 13 match. I think it's week 13. I don't even know. Matchups and pick show. This is our show where we will talk about. We're going to talk about some MSU news, talk about some Mississippi State hoops, talk about soccer, some unfortunate recruiting news, and then talk about some of the matchups during the week and finish with our Against the Odds segment that started off really well, Austin. We started off during the season 7 for 10 on our underdog money line picks. And then last week, you and I both were 0 for 2. I picked Michigan to beat Indiana. And who did you pick?
I picked LSU to beat Alabama, and that did not happen at all.
Oh, geez, man.
It was a rough week for both of us.
Yeah, that did not work out well. And honestly, this week, who knows if it's going to get better? There's not a ton of great games this week, at least just in terms of pure matchups to begin with. We'll see what it looks like at the end. Who knows? We might be shocked by some. But before we get into some MSU hoops, we want to tell you that this show is brought to you in part by ARPA's Coffee and Bar in Starkville. ARPA's understands that great food and drinks are best enjoyed in the company of friends and loved ones. Their awesome atmosphere creates a great backdrop for laughter, conversation, and great memories. And whether you're seeking a great spot to catch up over coffee, gathering place for a special occasion, or just a cool late night hangout spot, their friendly staff is dedicated to bring you a great experience. Make sure it's nothing short of exceptional. It's located in the heart of the heart in Starkville in the Cotton District. Mention My Dogs Are Barking whenever you are checking out, and you'll get 15% off of everything you order. So make sure you let them know that. Grab you something delicious. Mississippi State hoops, Austin, is 3-0. You mentioned it before we started. It's good to see a team for Mississippi State, winning. Obviously, the soccer team is doing that as well, in a huge way. But Mississippi State hoops is 3-0. They start off with a win over West Georgia, then a big win over Georgia State. And then on this past Friday, who they beat this? Oh, Southeastern Louisiana.
Southeastern Louisiana.
Right, yeah. And, Josh Hubbard has been himself. He's averaging 21 points a game. He from 3-point percentage, he is shooting 61.9%. He's 13 of 21 on 3-pointers. Really, really amazing. He looks like he's just as good, if not better, than he was last season. Got a couple different guys. You want to talk about the kind of the supporting cast he has around him?
Yeah, I mean, last year, we had Tolu Smith and Josh Hubbard as a 1 and 2. This year, obviously, we still got Josh Hubbard in a sophomore season. I mean, there was a massive question mark on who was going to be that other guy. But right now, it's just a whole lot of guys stepping up. If I were to pick a number 2 right now, a lot of people are saying Riley Kugel. I would say Kanye Clary. I mean, he's played very good. I mean, them as like combo guards they've been so fun to watch. I mean, with Josh Hubbard being out, last year, we didn't really have a guy that could get themselves a bucket. That guy, I mean, he could get himself a bucket against. I mean, we haven't seen him play against great competition, but it's looking like he's going to be very good. He averaged, I think, 16 points, 17 points at Penn State. So I really like him. And I think, if we can keep both of those guys healthy, we're going to be, a force to reckon with. And then you got, guys like Riley Kugel, who could have a big night. He could get 20 a night, every couple games. And then Claudio Harris, we saw in that first game, I think he had 20 points where he just got incredibly hot. But ever since then, he's very much cooled off ever since then, the past 2 games. But you never know when he could get hot. And then obviously we got a lot of guys that we're playing just because, we haven't really played any great competition. So we're just trying to play and just try to find the best lineups for the rest of the season, and especially going into SEC play. But Kanye Clary's looking really good. Riley Kugel, I think, is going to figure it out and get a whole lot better. And then the center position, we gotta play a little bit better there. But I'm feeling good. I mean, we got guys like Cam Matthews, Keyshawn Murphy. So we got a lot of depth this season.
Yeah, the 5 position is the biggest question mark. Keyshawn is not a traditional center. He's not going to be able to rebound the ball that way. He's more of a pick and pop kind of guy. And the centers that they brought in, Michael, was it Nwoko from
I think
Miami,
that's
the
right.
transfer. He played well to begin with, but like no one's rebounding the ball. And right now, the person leading the team in rebounds is Cam Matthews, who honestly has not played a ton of minutes because he's been in foul trouble. He's got seven rebounds a game leading the team. So they have to figure that out, because there are going to be teams that are going to be grabbing rebounds, off the glass like crazy, and Mississippi State is going to be in some trouble because they're going to have to rely solely on Cam Matthews if someone else does not step up. I wish Jimmy Bell was on this team so bad. Just a big guy that can box out and grab the rebound. He was wonderful for that. So that's an area where Mississippi State looks at that you have to be kind of nervous. Now this Sunday is going to be a big test for them. Mississippi State is playing Utah in South Haven, which is an interesting location, but it's going to help out their net. And after that, they're going on the road next week at SMU. That's going to be a huge game. They got a lot of games that are going to be huge. We're going to figure out who they are. I really think Sunday is going to be a big part of it. Utah is undefeated, and then playing SMU. SMU is undefeated, and they've got some. SMU has some scores, so we're going to see what this team is made of. But if you walk away with wins there, even if you split, if you go 1-1 over those next two games, that's going to be helpful going forward. But obviously, they're not going there to try to lose. It's just an interesting team. You mentioned Riley Kugel. He's the guy that is. It's like everyone knows at some point he's going to go off, right? Because he's such a good player. But you're right. It's like, for whatever reason, he just hadn't figured out. Maybe he hadn't figured out how to play in the offense just yet. Is that it? You're a former starting high school forward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like him coming off the bench the first game. I mean, I kind of saw, and he did not shoot the ball well. I just saw that he was kind of just getting definitely adjusted to it. And I think it's probably going to take some time, but I think that towards SEC play, we might see a totally different Riley Kugel. And hopefully for Mississippi State case, that's what happens, because we're going to need, that second player by Hubbard and also that third player by Hubbard. And so we're going to need somebody to, all great teams have two guys. I heard this last night, all like two, like all college basketball players have two guys, that are like, that can get a bucket anytime. And right now we got Josh Hubbard, obviously, but we need a second player to step up and a third player to play and just pick up their load a little bit. So yeah, we definitely need some people to step up, but because Hubbard's not going to be able to run it by himself. But I think Chris Jans has done a great job, and he knows how to build a roster. And I think that, like, come SEC play, I think we're going to see the fruits of our labor in that way.
Well, I like Kanye Clary. Clary's like a guy who he's a slasher. Like, he can get to the rim and get a bucket if you really need it, which is good. I can't remember the last guy we had that was a go to the rim and I'm going to go and get something kind of guy. And that's that is certainly needed for this team. Like you mentioned, in case Hubbard, in the NCAA tournament game versus Michigan State, Hubbard he made some shots that were incredibly difficult, but he was off on a lot. And they had nothing to do. Like, they couldn't go to anything. Tolu Smith, towards the end of the season, it was very odd. It's like nothing was falling and couldn't grab rebounds. So we'll see how this team develops, and hopefully a center will emerge from that. Mississippi State women's soccer is hosting. They're the number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. They are hosting Southern University on Saturday at the MSU field. The kickoff is set for 5 p.m. Shout out to the Lady Dogs, man. They are the most successful program, or not the Lady Dogs, but for Mississippi State women's soccer, they are the most successful and winning program on campus right now by a long shot. And so I love this. I know Mississippi State fans are going to be. I imagine that's going to be a packed house with folks just excited to be there. And then Austin, there was someone. Well, I say unfortunate news. Mississippi State, fans were kind of holding and grasping onto the idea that Caleb Cunningham might come to Starkville. He was committed to Alabama. Instead, he is going to stay in Mississippi, but he is going to Ole Miss. And we won't spend a lot of time on this, but how many times can we talk about the different issues that Mississippi State has um, within just kind of the organization overall, this particular football team? But this is a guy that you were really, really hoping to get. And now Ole Miss comes off of this huge win, and now they get the number 1 overall player in Mississippi, and really a player that every single State fan wanted bad.
Yeah, it really hurts. It really, really hurts. You and I have been talking about this guy for 2 years. I remember we were talking about him a couple years ago in the car, and like you were asking if he was 2024. I was like, no, this guy is this good, and he's a 2025. And you were like, dang, like, I mean, this guy's an unbelievable talent. He's right down the road from Starkville. We had him here so much. Oh man, when he committed to Alabama, like his tweet was like 10,000% committed, and he would like almost every day would like post elephant emojis on Twitter. That doesn't mean anything. If he's not wearing the jersey, that does not mean anything. And this hurt. Even if he went to Bama, it would not hurt nearly as much. And Ole Miss is having the best season arguably in their life. They're in playoff contention. They're probably, I mean, there's great chances that they're going to be in the playoff. And then they get a 5-star kid from right down the road, right next to Starkville. It hurts really bad. And I just like imagine the Egg Bowl in a year or two when Caleb Cunningham is lined up against our team. It's just, it hurts.
He's going to be lined up against some transfer portal guy we got from UTEP that
yeah.
that played sparingly at UTEP, and now he's the starting corner for us. That's who we're going to end up getting out of the portal. That, and the starting corner from Coastal Carolina is going to be coming down, facing up against Caleb Cunningham. That's what's going to happen. I did want to touch on that. Yeah, Ole Miss is having a crazy season. Now, this weekend, Mississippi State and Ole Miss are both off. And so, honestly, we got a couple of picks here. We do have a couple of against the odds picks, but we're going to get into these picks, Austin, because there's not a ton of them. So let's just dive into it. Texas is a 13.5-point underdog, or pardon me, is a 13.5-point favorite on the road at Arkansas. This one's kind of interesting. Because Arkansas has enough talent to win this game. I think Quinn Ewers is healthy. Like, I don't think there's any sort of big injury news there. And it's in, like as mentioned, it's in Arkansas, so it does make it a little bit more interesting. They have not completely given up on the season just yet. Do you think Texas wins this game? And if so, do they end up winning by 2 touchdowns?
I can definitely see it. It being in Fayetteville changes things a little bit. But yeah, I think Quinn Ewers is healthy. I think a lot of the offense is healthy. I know they have one of, if not the best offensive line in the whole country. So I feel good about picking Texas here. I think if they can stop Taylor Green, I think they can win this game with ease. But Arkansas, they beat Tennessee when no one saw it coming, so they've had a game where, you just nobody's picking them to win and they win it. So, we'll see what happens, but I feel confident that Tennessee and Texas is going to pull it out.
Well, here's what I was thinking though. Texas, what they have left on the schedule, Texas is 8-1. Their one loss being Georgia. Then, man, they only beat Florida Vandy by 3 points. That's crazy. And then so that they got Arkansas, but it's at 11 a.m. this Saturday. Then they host Kentucky. Then they go on the road at Texas A&M. As they stand right now, I mean, they're going to get in the playoff. And honestly, Austin, even with two, if they were to lose one more game, they should get in the playoff, right? I mean, is Texas essentially a lock? I feel like Texas is a team that we've all forgotten about because they lost against Georgia, but they're still. I mean, obviously they have one loss. They're positioning themselves for a great spot in the playoff.
Yeah, I think that if they lose maybe by this game on Saturday or lose against A&M and then go into the SEC game and then lose to an the SEC championship, I think the SEC championship is going to be a big factor in that, because if they lose against A&M or on Saturday and then lose the SEC championship, I mean, it's going to be a tough time for the committee because you have so many SEC teams that could potentially get in. So I don't know.
I don't envy the committee at all. I mean, I never have, but this year especially, I don't know, man. You keep expanding this thing, and there's just always going to be somebody that's saying, "Hey, no, wait a minute. The 13th and 14th best team's always going to be there. Hey, no, hold on. I know 4 was hard. Four was difficult, but now you open this up, and there's even more things. So yeah, now I think Texas ends up winning this one, by double digits. I don't know. I think Arkansas is going to give a little bit better of a fight than that. LSU coming off their incredibly disappointing loss versus Alabama. This game's a little odd to me. LSU's only favored by 4.5 at Florida. Florida's like their third string quarterback's playing, and he's pretty bad. LSU by 4.5. Is that does that not sound odd?
Yeah, it does for sure. I mean, LSU did not look good at all on Saturday. But I don't think they're that bad. I mean, this Florida team is not very good. Not very good. And they already told Billy Napier they're not going to fire him. And so, I mean, he's just excited that he's not going to get fired this season. So he could get blown out. But yeah, I don't see this. I think LSU is going to have a bounce back game. Brian Kelly's going to have those guys mad and ready to play. And I think they're going to make a statement on Saturday that they're still a legit team.
Well, yeah, and all the hate about Brian Kelly, I understand. LSU fans were embarrassed, and LSU does not get embarrassed. Like it, Alabama never really gets embarrassed. LSU never really gets embarrassed. Georgia rarely ever gets straight up just embarrassed. I think they did versus Ole Miss. But Brian Kelly, like to think about saying, let's go ahead and fire Brian Kelly. Let's let him go. Dude, who are you going to get that's going to be anywhere close to as good as Brian Kelly is? So I think just they got to chill. I understand that they hate it, and like I said, they were very embarrassed. But it just happens, especially during this new era of college football. It is going to happen to those teams. Yeah, I think LSU wins this by 20. I don't understand 4.5 points. Like thinking they're going to squeak out a win versus Florida's really bad. And then Georgia at Tennessee. Georgia is favored by 10 points. Tennessee did mention that Nico is out in this game. Is that right?
I believe so. Yeah, I think he's out with concussion, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So the injury that he suffered versus Mississippi State, he is out in this game. So man, even that only being 10 points is well. Hold on. It says he's questionable. So
okay.
He's not exact. Okay. No. Well, Chris Felica says that he's out. He's out in this game, but I don't know. Either way, I don't really think it matters. I think Georgia is probably is upset and ready to come out, and Kirby Smart's going to have his players remarkably fired up, and we'll win that game. That's so odd, man. The games this week, there's not like a ton of just interesting, great, big matchups to look at, except for maybe one that you have in against the odds that you have a very interesting pick. That we will get to. Anything you want to say about Georgia and Tennessee before we move to against the odds segment?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see Kirby Smart and Georgia going 9-3 this year. If they lose this game, they'll go 9-3, and that would, that's just not a Kirby Smart team. I picked them to win the national championship, and Carson Beck has, I believe, 13 interceptions. He leads the SEC in interceptions, and he's got to play better, man. I mean, this is a great Tennessee defense. I mean, we saw it. Mississippi State fans on Saturday where we saw it loud and clear. This is a great Tennessee defense. Carson Beck needs to freaking lock in because they do not need to lose this game. I mean, I don't know what Athens is going to do if they go 9-3 this year with Carson Beck back and Trevor Etienne and all of these guys. I mean, I don't see them losing this game.
Yeah, no, I think they will be fine. We do move into our favorite segment, against the odds, where Austin and I pick a underdog money line pick. We've had a tough couple of weeks, honestly. Honestly, just a tough last week. I think the weeks before that, you especially were rolling, hitting 70% of the underdog money line picks. If you were to do that, I could see a scenario maybe where someone took some of those picks and even became rich. But hey, what does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Skip Langley is your Batesville, Mississippi, Edward Jones advisor, serving clients in the area and across the state. Count on him for financial strategies that can help support a life you love, because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. So contact him today at 662-563-9843, and together you can find your rich. Edward Jones, member SIPC. All right, Austin, against the odds, who is your underdog money line pick? Who's going to end up winning?
Well, there's a game, a ranked matchup in the SEC Network 315. Y'all go check it out. Two coaches that they've been getting a lot of hate the past year and a half. They've been getting a lot of love. That's Eli Drinkwitz. That's Shane Beamer. Missouri takes on South Carolina. South Carolina's favored to win this game by 13 points. I don't see it. On Saturday, Eli Drinkwitz said, we're still trying to make the play. They're ranked 23 in the country, and he's over here saying, like we're trying to keep, trying to make this playoff. I don't think they're going to make the playoff, to be honest, but I think that they definitely have the tools to figure this win out. Lenore Sellers, I'm not sold on Lenore Sellers. I'll say that. And, I've been very hesitant on Shane Beamer, but he has proved me wrong multiple times this season with some good wins. But I don't know. For my against the odds pick, I'm taking Missouri over South Carolina this Saturday.
I think you're nuts. I will say that, because Brady Cook is out. He's like, it'd be Drew Pine.
Listen, Drew Pine, he played good. I think he was at Notre Dame. Listen, he's going to lock in.
Well, I mean, historically speaking, you're probably right. You've hit more of these than I have by a long shot. So there's probably some wisdom in listening to you. And South Carolina is an odd team to figure out, but they've had a better season than I thought. For my against the odds pick, I got to tell you, there's a team up in Idaho that a lot of people are giving love to. That is just, I think they were even in the college football playoff as the 12th seed. I just don't think they're very good. Playing really bad team, playing Nevada close last week, and probably should have gotten beat by Nevada. They do have the Heisman hopeful, the Heisman favorite in their corner. But I think Boise State is going to end up losing Saturday, because they're going down to California to go to the city of San Jose. They're going to San Jose State to play the Spartans, the mighty Spartans. They have a dynamic offense at night, 9 p.m. Eastern kick. I think San Jose State, give me them. They're plus 390 over Boise State. I think Boise State finally goes down this weekend.
Wow, that's a deep dive in there for against the odds this Saturday. That was good. That would be awesome. Ashton Genty, he just plays terrible, and Madston, their quarterback, plays terrible. I mean, I don't know, but hey, anything can happen on against the odds. This is why we do the segment, So we're not picking the teams that everybody wants us to pick. So it could happen. We'll see.
That's true. And with the amount of games we had offered at our disposal this week, that's really the best we can do. There's just not a lot of crazy good games this week. Yeah. But that does it for our pick segment. Make sure you check out our episode that aired, I think, yesterday morning with Malcolm Reed, Mississippi barbecue legend. Since there's not going to be any Mississippi State football this weekend, if you're an Ole Miss listener, any Ole Miss football this weekend, there is a great opportunity to smoke something, to put something on the grill and just enjoy tailgating. And so we talked to Malcolm about just some different options, different things you can cook. If you're a beginner, some different easy things to cook. If you are an expert, quote unquote, maybe something that's more of a challenge to cook. So, man, get out and grill something and smoke something. That'd be awesome. Austin and I are headed to go visit the king of rock and roll, Mr. Elvis Presley. I mean, he's been gone for a long time, but gonna go visit there and celebrate Austin's an early birthday for Austin with the fam. So that's gonna be a great time down there in Memphis. Gonna try some Rendezvous ribs. I've never been to Rendezvous before. You tried that, hadn't you?
Yeah, it's very good. It's awesome. You're in for a good time.
Yeah, I'm always up for trying ribs from anywhere at all. So, but yeah, make sure you're following us on Twitter, just at MyDawgsPod. Make sure you also subscribe to us for free on Substack to read our articles, and make sure you subscribe to MPW Digital, 10.2K subscribers. And man, next week is Mississippi State playing Missouri at home. I think there's some interesting things to talk about in that game, especially if Brady Cook's still out. If Luther Burden says, I'm out, I think there's some potential there. Not probable, but potential upset. And then Ole Miss week, Egbo week, is the following week, and we are going to have a lot of content that week. We have got a lot of things, a lot of guests lined up for that show that we're really, really excited about. So thanks for listening to the My Dogs Are Barking podcast, and we'll see you next time.